So a lot of people have been asking me to make a video on the top tier anime, the greatest anime you need to watch before 2020 ends, or at least before eternal slumber. So without further ado, here's the greatest anime you need to watch. Whenever someone asks me what anime should they watch first, my mind always goes to one anime in particular, and that's Kimi no Na wa. Kimi no Na wa has to be one of the greatest animes I've ever seen in these last couple of years. Kimi no Na wa is directed by Makoto Shinkai, the same mastermind behind films such as Garden of Words and Withering With You. The film follows Michiwa and Taki. Michiwa is a high school student who dreams of becoming a boy so that she could live out her life in the city of Tokyo. Meanwhile, Taki is a high school student in the city of Tokyo, and he finds it quite hard to handle his social life and his job at the same time. Similar to most body swap movies, Michiwa wakes up one day to find herself in Taki's body, and Taki wakes up to find himself in Michiwa's body. To put an end to this madness, they decide to have an endless search for each other so that they could get answers. Ultimately, their actions start to influence each other's lives and social lives to the point where they have a direct conflict against each other. Eventually, when they do meet up, no spoilers, it's quite a tear-jerking moment. The animation is by far one of the best I've seen in an anime recently, and the storyline, so good. Oh, and the soundtrack is also amazing. Just listen to this.
私たちはお互いの生活を守るためルールを決めた。入れ替わってしまっている時の注意点や、それなのにあの男は君の全然前世から僕は君を探し始めた。
The next is The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time is about a high school student who has no idea, like most high school students, what else she could do once high school ends. She spends most of her time hanging out with her friends and navigating student life. Her life suddenly changes when she discovers that she could jump through time, quite similar to the film Jumper if I'm not mistaken.
Liar!
Her time jumps have a marking on her arm, so when that marking goes down, she cannot time jump anymore. But in doing so, there's consequences, and like most time movies, there are certain things that happen in the future that she cannot control. The film is rated an 8.23 on my anime list. This is one of the most amazing anime films I've ever seen. I've seen Kimi no Na wa, so... The Garden of Words is a short film about a boy who's 15 years old and a girl who's 27 years old, a woman who's 27 years old. She's a teacher and he's a student who has a passion for shoemaking. They both feel isolated and alone in this world where they share passions that no one else cares about, and they feel lost in an ever-changing society. They meet every so often in a garden, some neighboring garden, and it's normally raining when they do meet. I'm pretty sure it's raining all the time, if I'm not mistaken. The film has limited dialogue, which honestly works in its favor because the spectacle is what we see. The story is told elegantly and nothing is wasted. This is honestly one of the most visually pleasing and visually stunning films I've ever seen. Whisper of the Heart is just one of the many great films in the catalogue of Studio Ghibli.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Studio Ghibli films. This one in particular is about a young girl who has an interest in literature. One day when she goes to the school library, she notices that someone's name keeps appearing on the school library checkout card. She's then filled by curiosity to find out who this mysterious person is. One day, by following this fat cat to a nearby town, she runs into this boy, and it turns out that he is the student who keeps taking out the books. The two begin to form a relationship and start to become friends as the film carries on. The film is filled with an unexpectedness of dreams. What will we become in the future? Who will we become in the future? So she battles to try and understand where her role fits in to her future landscape and her life. The film is rated an 8.25 on my anime list. I know this film gets a lot of hate from Studio
Ghibli.
hardcore fans, especially due to its main protagonist, one of the main protagonists being kind of a piece of...
Ay, caramba!
If you got that, then this is Ocean Waves. Unlike most films with leading protagonists, this one kind of makes you question if whether or not the protagonist is doing a good job and if he's actually aware of his surroundings and aware of his actions. To sum it all up, this film is about a guy who's being abused basically by a girl. Ocean Waves is a high school love story. When a new student named Muto transfers to this school, Taku and Yutaka are interested in getting to know her more, but she's kind of a recluse, and because of this she comes across as being a snob to the other students. As the movie progresses, Taku starts hanging out more with Muto, and yeah, that's kind of the film. It's kind of it's one of those films you just have to watch for yourself to get the gist of the story. It's very much one of those lo-fi and chill movies that seems to be the in thing nowadays. The film is rated a 6 on my anime list, but don't let that persuade you to not watch it. It's actually quite good. If you into kind of slow pacey films, you know, something you can just put on the background, then definitely give Ocean Waves a chance. Next on the list is Spirited Away. Normally when you think of Studio Ghibli films, this film would come to mind. After all, that won an Academy Award for Best Animated Film. This film scared me as heck when I was a child growing up. Kind of put me off anime films until some good things came along, and then I decided to give it another shot. 10-year-old Chihiro is a spoiled and stubborn child. One day, her and her parents decide to go into an abandoned amusement park. In it, all sorts of weird things start happening as they realize they shifted into the spirit world. Her parents are turned into pigs, and she has to try and navigate through this world and try to find an answer. It's intriguing and it's impactful. Definitely a movie that you'll remember for a long time to come. Ultimately, Spirited Away tells the story of Chihiro and her journey to try and save her parents and navigate through this new world. Also, it has this guy in it. The film is rated an 8.85 on my anime list. Next up is another great film. It's called A Silent Voice. I remember getting into a heated argument with this one. I told my one friend that there's no way A Silent Voice can be better than Kimi no Na wa. And he carried on and on saying, no, it is better. The visuals, the story, everything. So I decided to give it a shot, and it's good, but you know, Kimi no Na wa is still better. I think it's one of the greatest films to ever come out in recent years. Anime films, that is. So, yeah. Shoya is a wild elementary school student who resorts to bullying tactics to cure his boredom. One day, a deaf student comes to the school, and he and some friends start picking on her. When her mother phones the school to report him, Shuya is left to transfer to a different school. Once he goes to a new school, he is ostracized and further bullied, which is quite ironic, and all the teachers just turn a blind eye to his abuse. Shuya starts to regret his past actions and decides to make amends with the deaf girl that he bullied. Kind of like My Name is Earl, but in an anime form, I guess. It's a very wholesome story, and it shows that being a kind person pays off, and it doesn't take much to be a kind person. The film is rated a 9.01 on my anime list. So those are just some of my anime films I think you need to watch before 2020 ends, or before the inevitable happens. If you agree with this list, let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know what you think about other movies I should have included in here maybe. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you like and subscribe.